Good morning, everyone. The time being 9 a.m., we'll call the meeting to order. And council would review the agenda that's in front of them on there. And are there any amendments to the agenda as presented? Seeing none, looking for a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
That the July 14th, 2026 agenda be adopted as presented.
Thank you. Questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, today we have one public hearing that will be at 10 o'clock and two delegations that we'll be getting to very shortly. Now that they have adopted the agenda, looking for any declaration of conflict of interest. Seeing none, we'll move on to the meeting minutes of the June 23rd, 2026 meeting, the draft minutes. They were in the pre-meeting package. Any questions, deletions, corrections of the minutes? Seeing none, looking for a motion to adopt the minutes as presented. Darren.
That the minutes of the regular meeting held on June 23rd, 2026 be approved as circulated and presented.
Thank you. Questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. And we have the draft meeting minutes from the public hearing of June 23rd. Again, they were in the pre-meeting package. Any questions on the public hearing minutes? For motion to accept the public hearing minutes as presented. Karen.
That the minutes of the public hearing meeting held on June 23rd, 2026 be approved as circulated and presented.
Thank you. Questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, we're down to our delegations. The first one is Mr. Richard Lemon. Sir, if you could just step up to the chairs here, and Karen will show you how to run the mic.
Good morning. First thing I would like to say is I don't feel that I should have to be here as a taxpayer in this RM. I've been a taxpayer here for approximately 40 years. I've been here twice in the past 5. I never was before. I made 2 phone calls in the other 35 years to my counselor, and that's all that was required because the roads were properly maintained. I've been here twice in the last 2 years, and for a short time after I came, the roads were slightly improved, and now they've gone downhill again. I understand that this is a wet year, and it is an issue keeping the roads in good shape. These, I can show you some pictures here. I couldn't get them down Friday as I had other things to do. Some of these appear to be duplicates.
If you could just start with Councillor Besbaraco over here on your right-hand side, and he can pass them around.
Oh, I might as well give you all of them. When the roads were maintained in the past, while they were doing it, there would be a big ridge in the center of the road consisting of clay, gravel, and some sand, dust. Hopefully damp clay so that they would fill holes. At this point, we don't seem to see anybody until the road is very dry and they fill the holes with gravel alone or gravel and dust. Sometimes there isn't even a ridge down the center of the road. There's nothing pushed up because it's all taken up, just filling the hollows in the roads. They're in the process, I mean. You just can't fill holes with loose gravel and have it stay there. We've talked to people and they say the road is too wet to come out to do. And it may be in some areas. Pick up the phone, call me, call somebody else out there that you know. Find out if it's too wet, too dry. Find out. And that goes for you as a counselor too. If you can't get up there to see the roads, call me. Find out if they're full of holes.
I try to drive up as much as I can. I drove up that day that I talked to you and stuff
Okay,
too.
that's good.
And yeah, no, I do. And Derek is running those roads a lot.
Mhm.
So we aren't ignoring you.
Okay.
You know, and that North 624, I've been on council 12 years. And when I first got on council, I was pushing to try to get that clay clapped. And
Mhm.
and it's again, the traffic counts were a little bit lower than a lot of other roads. And that was one of the reasons why it was put on the back burner. I still maintain that we need to do something to that north end of it. But again, you know, I'm only one voice on council.
I understand that. Those roads were well maintained. Now they're very rough. I drive a 23 Toyota Tacoma. My wife drives a 4Runner. They should be able to handle those roads nicely. And we're driving quite often. We're driving 60 and 70 kilometers out to number 6 highway, just so we don't shake them up. I also have older vehicles that I drive. I have a couple of classic vehicles, and I haven't even taken them out the last 3 years because I don't want to shake them up getting them to the highway. I could put them in a trailer or on a trailer. The small ones I could put in a trailer, but I don't want to shake them up. Even in the trailer, they would be shaken up.
Other than, I see the 624 and Councilor Broad has talked about that. Are there any other roads in particular?
Well, the ETAPS road, is it 729? No. The ETAPS road that turns into Russell Hill Road after you pass number 6 highway.
Okay.
That road. It's also rough. That passes in front of Glenn's. That's really all I have to say. I don't have much. Just
Yeah, well, we understand your frustration, Mr. Lemon, and we'll definitely be dealing with them. Like you said, the moisture or the amount of rain that we've had this year has slowed down the grading of the roads. So as you're aware, we had a very wet spring and early summer on it, but we do and our staff take pride in trying to keep the roads as in best shape as they can on it, but we'll definitely take your concerns to them on it and try to do better for you.
yeah, as a farmer, that's basically all RM does for me is maintain the roads. the fire department down here. They can't get to my place in time to do anything, certainly not on these roads.
Yeah.
Or an ambulance. If they come out there and they hit those washboards or those holes and end up in the ditch, it's not going to do any good.
No, exactly.
So it is a safety issue.
Does any of council have questions for Mr. Lemon?
No, yeah, like I say, I've been bringing it to the attention of our staff and everything too, and yeah, I'm going to still fight for trying to get that clay capped and everything, because I think it is needed. That road has gotten pounded out, especially north of your place there, between the slough there and stuff. It's
Yeah, and between Sean Francis's and the next hill.
Yeah.
Also in there.
Yeah, definitely.
And 3 years ago, there was a woman hit the ditch there when she hit that.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't roll.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah. Yeah, it's and again, that the last traffic count we had on that one was approximately 350 vehicles a day, compared to the 624 going south, not the 2 miles south of mine, but the next 2 miles where we had put the shingles. That one was 759.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
That is an extremely busy road.
It is
Yeah.
very.
And it is
Yeah.
bad too.
Yeah, well, yeah, that first 2 miles, we've got quite a few soft spots and stuff in it, and again, what do? You try to dig it out and put some fresh clay in it and stuff, but with the amount of rain and stuff that we've had, it's a nightmare with them, so.
Yeah. We've also had comments about there being a lot of native land up our way and whatnot. The RM was supposedly paid out by the federal government for that. I don't know what happened to the money. Was it spent? Was it invested so that it could be used down the road? I don't know. But maybe it just wasn't enough. I don't know. But there's others left there.
Yeah, in my division, I believe there's 26 and a half quarters that is treaty status.
Mhm.
And it's one of the highest amounts in the RM. And yeah, there was money given out, but it didn't cover a lot of areas that we needed to.
Yeah. Okay, but the rest of us are still there. I said the rest of us are still there. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lechner?
I live on the 729 blue sign, 11381. 2 years ago, Tim invited us, Richard Chantel, myself, Glenn Lipset, his wife, and a few others, to talk about the roads. And yes, there was work done. Not perfect, but there was work done. 2 years later, we have the same issue. East of me, before the Edenwold grid, our road is approximately 10 years since a rebuild. We've never had holes like that. Like Chantel showed pictures of Karen, and those pictures maybe are here, I'm not sure. But there was holes where you could definitely take a vehicle wheels out of alignment. And yes, last week it got worked on, which is great, but we have an issue with our gravel and the crowns are gone. Like the water used to run off if there was a and our gravel seems to have silt in it because 2-3 tenths of rain and it just turns to slime, and that shouldn't be. Years ago there was times where it rained an inch and the roads were fine. There was no problem. In conclusion, yes, I realized there was lots of rain. But in the same time, 640 got done 3 times to 729 is 1 in 5 weeks. They're right beside each other. That's unacceptable to me. And I've had people from other RMs coming through and saying, what's going on with your roads? Like, it's pretty bad when my friend lives in South Capella and that gravel, which they don't do any grading once so far, and it's better than Arm of Edenwold. Lumsden's the same. I know you guys are sick and tired of hearing that, but something has to be done. It's just our vehicles are falling apart. Like, we can't have this. Like, for the amount of tax we're paying, there should be. We were promised a grader north of Edenwold, and there's, I mean, like 640. There's a lot of traffic. I realize 729 is at least 2 buses. There should be much more grading of our roads. That's all I have to say.
Well, thank you. We'll definitely be speaking with our maintenance staff on these issues, and as I said with Mr. Lemon, we'll definitely be working at doing better to keep your road in better shape. On it, it's I don't like having to come here to let us know on that, so we'll definitely take it seriously and be working at doing a better job.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Lemon, did you have anything else to put in? Yeah. Yes. Could you come up to here, please? No, it's just the meetings are recorded and it doesn't pick you up unless you're at the mic.
Yes, just that we were assured last time I was here that the crowns wouldn't be taken off for the winter. And last year it certainly appeared like ours was scraped down for the winter. Whether it's your maintenance staff's opinion that that was done or not, I don't know. But it appeared to me that it was. And if you take the crown off for the winter, the center of the road is soft, and that's why you get those holes. It just, you can't do it in a year.
A few years back, yeah, we were taking the crown off. We're not taking the crown off anymore.
Okay.
So yeah. So
It
that's
just,
yeah.
Maybe it was a slight
If it
slip
got
of the
down
grader
down or-
operator or,
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
It
But no,
happens.
that was addressed, yeah, a while back, and yeah,
I don't do everything perfectly every time either.
yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah, I know I'm the same way, but no, that was talked about a few years back, that we used to remove the crowns to keep the gravel on the roads. Now that's changed, that we're going to leave the crown on just so that hopefully it'll drain a little bit more of the moisture
Okay.
and stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very much. Okay, we'll move on to the list of accounts. Sarah?
Check 5885 to barricades and signs. This is a solar crosswalk sign that's within our $40,000 budget for the year. And then in the proposed EFT payment section, we have a payment to AccuFlow Meter Services for water meters. This falls within the $25,000 budget for water meters this year. We have a number of payments to elevated applications for weed inspections, spraying, and larvicide application. And that total amount still falls within the $59,000 budget for the year. And then a payment to Southern Asphalt for surfacing repairs in the RM and Emerald Park. This is for Jackson Road repairs within the $90,000 budget for the year. And then a payment to WF Botkin for the Range Road 2183 upgrade, and that project has a budget of $1.4 million. And then on the credit card payment report, primarily the charges are for community events such as the Rock and Field and Car Show, and then there's some other charges for various supplies and software for the office, fire hall, and public workshops. That's it for highlight.
Thank you. Questions for Sarah on the list of accounts?
I have a couple things. So I was looking at, I don't know if it's in this one. Is it the audit thing? Is that in this one, or is it the different
That
one?
was in my financial report.
Oh, okay. So that's not this one then.
No, this is payments. And then for my monthly report for June, I spoke about the audit fees being a little bit over budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll bring that up, I guess, on the next one or whatever. But so I do have one concern just about the SARM that we went to in Moose Jaw, that Councillor Leibel did not even enter the room. So I just want to just check and just if you can check and see if she had charged for that.
I could speak to that she was not paid for the SARM conference.
Okay. And so I guess it,
Oh, yeah. The only, sorry on that, Darren, the only thing, she did get reimbursed for mileage because she drove Councillor Broad and myself there. So she was reimbursed for the mileage, but nothing for the
okay.
for the conference.
Okay, so yeah, that, and then she had a lunch paid for by the looks of it too. So, I mean, well, if you go to these things, you have to enter the room, you have to participate. She didn't even participate in the breakouts or anything. So I don't even know why she even went there. That's all.
Okay, other questions for Sarah on her list of accounts? Okay, motion to accept the list of accounts as presented. Karen.
That the list of accounts consisting of check number 5885 to 5903, EFT payment number 1117 to 1118, other payment number 168 to 186, credit card payment number 13 to 14, and proposed EFT payments totaling $586,427.56, plus June 14th to 27th, 2026 payroll totaling $70,904.81 be approved for payment.
Thank you. Questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Bank reconciliation, Sarah.
Okay, so there's no unusual reconciling items, just the outstanding deposits and checks, and then the payroll that cleared the following month. And then we continue to follow up on the few long outstanding checks on the list.
Thank you. Motion to accept the bank reconciliation as presented. Darren.
2026 bank reconciliation be acknowledged as presented.
Thank you. Questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. And your financial report.
Okay, so highlights on the revenue side for June, we did our dust control billing for $66,000. So this was cost recovery of 63% of the $105,000 for magnesium chloride product and application cost. We had our Q2 utility billing for $370,000. And we received our first of 4 installments for the municipal revenue sharing grant for $270,000. On the expense side, we paid our annual audit fees for $33,000. We had our purchase delivery application of the dust control product, magnesium chloride and shingles for $166,000. We did line painting, $47,000. We did our payment for the salted sand for the 25-26 winter season, which was $42,000. We had our capital bridge improvements, 80,000. We paid our second of 2 installments for the library and wastewater operating expenses. We had our monthly loan payment for 51,000, and then the South Plains Road sewer project, we had a project payment of 112,000. On the expense items over budget, we just had 2 items that were new for June. So we came in slightly above budget on the audit fees. There was additional billing for research into the wastewater proportionate consolidation, and we will manage this budget overage through our general government operating budget. And then we're just slightly over budget just by $600 on the Emerald Park small tools. On the equipment, machinery, and repairs, they're currently at 169,000 out of 303,000 budget, which is about 56%. So that's slightly above expectation of 50% for half of the year. And then I've just highlighted a couple notes. So in our budget, we had a capital grant revenue for the wastewater. It's a non-cash budget item, but it was just related to recording the completion of the project. Because of the determination of the proportionate consolidation in the audit, this amount is no longer going to be recorded this year. So I just wanted to highlight that. And then Clark had brought a report discussing that the water twinning of the supply and filter expansion would be postponed. So that was a $6.8 million budget item that has been removed. And then on the statement of financial position side, we continue to have a healthy cash balance. Our municipal taxes receivable decreased pretty significantly month over month. We received a lot of the long outstanding municipal taxes, which was good to see. And then our utilities receivable increased due to that Q2 utility billing.
Thank you. Questions for Sarah on the financial report?
Yeah. It's just about the audit. So it's an annual audit every year. So forgive me for not knowing much about this, but I guess it's just does it have to be done every year? And
it's a requirement from legislation that all municipalities have to have that annual financial statement audit. So
okay, yeah, I mean it just seems very high, and and if it wasn't necessary to do it every year, then you can save a lot of money doing that. But
yeah, we're definitely monitoring the fees because they have been increasing year over year, and with some of these additional billing items and everything, we're looking to manage that.
Okay.
But unfortunately, it is an annual requirement.
Yeah, no, it just seems a little bit crazy, but thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Sarah, on the dust control, our expenses are 166,000 and we recover 67%. Is that?
So the amount that was billed so far is just for the magnesium chloride amount, whereas that expense amount for the 166,000, that includes the shingles. We haven't done the billing for that yet.
So, but is that what our expectations are? Like, what's our expectations on that 166,000 for recouping?
I believe we're going to charge back on the shingles in the same policy that we do the magnesium chloride application. So I think we are expected to kind of recover that amount overall.
Yeah, I think the question might be, what's the expected revenue coming in from?
Yeah, like the percentage
The
of
whole,
the
like, that budget.
expenses.
Yeah, if we're following the same policy for the shingles, we should end up around that 66% recovery overall, I believe.
Of 166,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so our expenses would be about 45%. Okay, thanks.
Other questions for Sarah? Okay, motion to accept the statement of financial activities. Stephen?
That the statement of financial activities and statement of financial position for June 2026 be accepted as presented.
Thank you. Questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, Clark, the Engineering Public Works report.
Morning, Council. Quick update for Public Works over the last 3 weeks. So in Emerald Park, we did complete the shingle site behind the Kish Mall. So that was done, holding up really well. We're also underway on road repairs. So we've done some bigger repairs. Aspen Village Drive was completed with a couple big repairs by contractor. We're also doing some repairs, pothole repairs in Country Residential and some of the access roads. And then the smaller ones we're doing ourselves. We did run out of material a little bit ago, so we've picked up some more material to do that. So those will be completing over the next week and two. We've also continued with mowing. It was finally dry enough in the dog park to get a mower in there, so we were able to cut the weeds down in there to get everybody's dogs access back to that. In the rural, we've started the top cut mowing, so majority of the south is now done, the south 1 and 2. So we'll be moving up north, kind of moving forward here. ATS has started the civic addressing signs, so we're expecting they'll be complete in the next 4 to 6 weeks with the remaining 100 signs that they had left on their contract. Grading and graveling, spot graveling by the RM continues. Our gravel hauler was delayed due to the rain, so we're expecting them to come in kind of late July to do their contract. So we're expecting gravel on the roads to really see an increase once they can get out there and we can get the majority of their contract fulfilled. For the water treatment plants, the bulk fill water station is now back up and running. That meter has been replaced. We also replaced the raw water meter coming into the water plant. In addition, since we replaced the valve on the supply line, we've been battling higher turbidity in the water. That was due to the amount of water coming into the plant. So we've reconfigured where the chlorine injection site is, and since we've done that, the amount of contact time that the chlorines had with the water has increased, and we've seen our turbidity come back down to kind of our normal levels. So that's been good. From the sewer, so we did have a blockage in our sewer line in Palmer Crescent. It resulted in a basement backup. We did find that it was the result of a mass of brown packing paper, so that's been cleared, but waiting to see what happens, I guess, with that and insurance. But
where would that have come from?
I don't know. That's a
Amazon
good
package
question. Yeah, yeah.
How would you even get it?
But who flushes that?
But I'm just wondering, yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, how do you even get brown packing?
I don't know. It probably not through a toilet, but I don't know. Couldn't say.
Are there any commercial lines that hook into that before Palmer Crescent?
I believe so. Yeah, from the north. The sewer flows from that commercial area down to the south.
That have been the culprit then?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, again, the source of it.
So what about the sewer that, like the sewer, whatever it's called, the camping sewer
Oh yeah.
drain out? Could it have come from there?
No, it's a little bit south. It was kind of like right in the corner of Palmer Crescent. So that would only take up just Palmer Crescent.
That in the main line then?
Yeah, it was in the main, yeah. It was blocked between two manholes, and it was collected at the manhole that goes to the west that comes to our lift station, so that goes through St. Andrews and the golf course, whatever. But yeah, it would the 500 feet of it was just looked like they crunched it up into a ball and then flushed it, and then it just built up. So it's quite possible it was flushed down a toilet. But when they pulled it out, it was literally brown waxy paper, like packing paper. So
Yeah, so there's no way of it to even break down. It's waxy, and there's no manholes that are open in Emerald Park, right? They're covered, and so the only way to get in there is through a toilet or the co-op drain thing.
Yeah, or the odd sewer clean out that people have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Troy Clark, are you finished?
Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, motion to accept the engineering public works report. So we have any questions?
Okay.
Nicole,
That the public works report be accepted as presented.
thank you. Any questions on the motion? More questions for Rod? And
I have something about, what they were talking about, those roads and stuff. So just from a little bit of experience of my own driveway that I'm been packing and stuff, like when it's wet, if you ran a packer down there before the road gets that bad, would that help at all? Because I noticed that just on my driveway how hard it got just by packing it, and then it dried and it was super hard.
Yeah, I think your driveway would have like a good amount of granular, like structural granular on it too,
Okay.
like probably 6 inches. If we had 6 inches of gravel on our roads, we'd be sitting pretty
Yeah.
too. But no, like once it's wet like that and we take the graders down, it makes more of a mess than it helps. And then yeah, I mean we have a packer, but to put it on the roads, like we'd get
Okay.
very little done in a day.
Okay, no, I just,
But yeah,
it just kind of crossed my mind. I'm not a road builder, so I don't know, but I just thought I'd ask that question.
no, that's for sure what they do when they are like constructing the road, like when they're doing our upgrade here on 2183. If they don't have optimum moisture, they have to water their granular before they start packing it in. So it's definitely the process. It's just for the rural roads, we just don't have that structure there to fix it up that way.
Part of the problem with it too is just the base, that there's that it's saturated so badly that it's, even to try to pack it down, if that base is moving anywhere, it just will not pack properly. But again, I have to agree with the crowns. Crowns are a big thing, and I really feel that we have to put a little bit more onus on our grader operators and make sure that they are trying to ensure those crowns are being achieved when they're out there. I know that back 624 has been pounded out for a lot of years, and it definitely needs some heavy duty work done on it. But again, when is the perfect time for it?
We going to hear from the road experts, like from Derek? Are we going to hear what he suggests? I would suggest that we do that because we're not road experts, none of us. I'd rather hear from Derek and his what he actually is going to recommend we do.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is that hot seat live though? We want to make sure.
Ejection.
Yeah. Morning. I guess to respond to the question is, this past June's been quite challenging just because with the rains that we have been experiencing. I know there's a few comments saying, well, the road's wet, why not go out there and grade it? That's fine, for sure, absolutely. If there's a little bit of moisture at the right peak time, it cuts really nice. The challenge with that is that the clouds are coming in behind us. And those kind of the situations, like, believe me, I don't want the guys in the shop. I want them out grading, right? But you got to be kind of strategic with that. And that's kind of what I've been telling them as well is, if it's wet, too wet, try to go out there, do what you can, but don't open up too much. Let the other stuff dry out to optimum moisture content. So that way it'll cut, pack, shape, because that's how you get the crown back is by shaping the road, right? So the one instance they were out there, they're doing really good that one day, and then all of a sudden about 3:30, the guys come in and say, yeah, we got rained out. So on my way home, sure enough, I drive down and it was grease, it was slop, it was slimy, it wasn't good, right? So, and that was kind of another reason why on the 729 and specifically during the wet spell, I didn't want to get the guys out there right away because with how the forecast was looking, sure enough, we can go out there and do the job. But then sure enough, we're going to get that cloud coming back and it's going to be slime, slippery, very greasy, almost to the point where there's be more opportunity for the vehicles to lose control because how greasy it is. It's like driving on black ice in reality, right? But if we do nothing, sure, there's going to be a few holes, but there's going to be a solid base structure there and they'll just have to navigate around the puddles. But yet there's going to be no slime, no grease, no nothing. So then when we do get that time that we can go back to maintain, we can get that shape back. We got the gravel. We're not going to bury it. It's not going to go splashing in a ditch. It's going to stay on site. So that's kind of to defend that. That's kind of what my game plan was with all of that. I have been talking to the guys about, basically as soon as the gates open in basically beginning part of April, the main goal is to get those crowns back. And like right now, a lot of our roads should be nice and crowned, but a lot of them are fairly flat from practices of operating as well as just wear and tear of the roads. That's why we're always out all the time is we should always be shaping those roads, especially in the springtime. It's critical. We're getting to our dry season now. That's when we just maintain. We just kind of cut the washboard out, keep the crowns in order, keep the gravel in the middle, all that sort of stuff. But from basically April to basically end of July, that's our goal, is to get that crowns established. So there's a lot of roads that they are pretty flat that we got to work on. I've been telling them, hey, listen, you got to be putting more pressure on here, cutting this out, getting more material to shape that road. So we're working on it. Believe me, we sure are. The other thing we've been kind of working against is, or working with to the best, is the grass is getting so high that we can't really go out there and grab that material, because just try to spread tall grass as high is impossible. So right now with our mowers, we're trying to get our mains cut, so that way we can actually get a little bit more braver and kind of grab some more of that material that's kind of migrated into the tall grass, to bring that back onto the road to reutilize it instead of just sitting there. So we've been doing our best with that. So in fact, this is, I think last week was our first full week that we didn't have too much rain, but we got the odd shower. So we're getting back on her. We're trying to get things back into shape. As well as our gravel truck should be showing up here in the next little while. So that's another reason why things are kind of a little bit more greasy. When the Rod first got them to put a tender on it, their main objective was to be here in the first part of June, right? So we're in the middle of July pretty much, and we still haven't seen them yet. So I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks they'll be here. So that's going to be the benefit, right? Although a little bit late, because I'd have been left to have seen them here at the first part of June, because then we'd have a lot of gravel on the roads. But just the way things worked out, that's the way it is. So we're trying our best with our own truck, do our spot graveling, do some of the bad spots and all that. But I really don't want to be sending in our little truck up to do like the super grid, which could take up to 32 loads just to do those 8 miles, right? I kind of want the big guys to come in when they go 8 trucks at a time, and they can pound that off in a day or two. Our truck, to do a 200 yard to the mile application is what we do on that road, would take 2 weeks just for one truck to haul that material. That's 64 loads. So I'm trying to place them in other strategic areas to help us out on that. So yeah, we're waiting on a lot of people here, so we're doing our best we can.
Is 624 on the graveling? The north 624, it's on the graveling map too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it is. I think yes, it is on that list. Because last year, I don't think it was. I think there was enough material on the shoulders that we were able to make the year.
Yeah.
But this year it is on that stretch, as well as the 729. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just going to mention too that one thing that you had told me a while back was if you go out too early, that gravel, it basically rolls then when, if it's too wet and you can't dry it out like that, then too, it's actually making it worse.
Well, that's just it. To that comment, like if we get caught in rain and we got a big ridge in the middle that we're trying to work with, right, to work across the road, and say we get a torrential downpour that there could be, anywhere between half an inch or 2 inches of rain, depending on the rain, that whole ridge would be super saturated. And as you're trying to spread that out, it just flows right into the grass. So that's kind of one thing I've been trying to tell the guys is like, okay, like if you see the clouds, try not to have too much open. Or if you do get, say, kind of caught in a rain, just try to move that ridge slowly across to the shoulder to let the surface dry out. Let that ridge somewhat dry out, so then when next time you come back and grab it, get it back on there, just so that way we don't lose that aggregate. Because it's kind of one of those things where, as you're running the grader all the time, it's like, oh yeah, whatever, a little bit of spillage here and there, no big deal. Hop in that gravel truck and try to reclaim and haul more material into those roads to reclaim some of that lost material. Like it's just not as easy as just waving a magic wand and all of a sudden my road's graveled. It takes days to gravel a certain road sometimes. So there's a lot of investment and a lot of work and effort just to do that.
You've explained that great. I just wish that the delegations were still here to hear that.
We can send them the recording.
Yeah.
I think you guys are doing is a good job at considering the weather. Like you talk about the weeds and stuff, like everything. So much rain has just caused havoc. So yeah, you guys doing the best you can and can't control the weather. So appreciate the explanation. I figured it was probably the time to bring an expert in instead of sitting around talking about it. So thank you.
And just to add one more thing, we're getting to that season where our, farmers are going to be starting wanting to do, well, they're spraying right now, but pretty soon we'll be getting into harvest mode. So we're kind of trying to do our best to get on our back roads as well. We've had some bad situations down south where we got some major potholes that we're trying to repair because, and that's just it, like up north maybe wet, the whole RM's wet, but there's so many roads that are just getting pounded out that, you know, we're trying our best with the 3 graders just to stay on the gravel. And then I got one machine just kind of ripped around, just trying to fix all these dirt roads because down in south there's quite a big dirt road structure, I guess, that a lot of farmers and ratepayers rely on. So we're trying to get down there too to fix some of these bad spots. So it's all over the place. But I've also talked to South Capel, and actually just last week I was talking to Joe from the RM of Sherwood. I was kind of telling him about some of the issues that we're going with. And he says, oh boy, is it ever good to hear from somebody else who's having the same issues that we are. Even South Capella said this exact same thing to me. So it's kind of, we're not the only ones here. It's everybody else. Just, I don't know. It's just, we're doing our best, I guess.
I'm sure once they hear your explanation and weather and everything it takes, then I'm sure they'll be a little bit more understanding.
Any other questions for Derek or Rod?
Yeah, I was in June, you guys had a terrible grading month of June because I rode down there every day it rained, and you probably every second day in June, and it's over a half an inch, sand plus. So some days it was 2 inches. So you would have a hard time maintaining the roads. This is probably one of the worst years, I bet you, for a while for doing that. I drive out to Indian Head and stuff on South Capel and Indian Head RMs. Their roads are just about the same shape, and they're having trouble too. So it's not just here.
Well, and that's just it. Like I was up in PA here a few weeks back too, and driving their back roads or dirt roads or gravel roads just to where I was kind of on my way to, I guess, and the exact same thing. So, you know, I think it's pretty much everywhere. So it's once again, it's nice to see when you drive around, it's like, oh, okay, oof, we're not the only ones dealing with this too. So,
And unfortunately, you know, some of the ratepayers too, they, you know, take different roads and they see a difference. Well, why is Sherwood's road so much better than ours? You know, and I don't have the answer for it. I said we've got our own gravel and it's, you know, there's quite a bit of rock and stuff in it. It's not all sand, you know, and I don't know what the structure is, you know, but again, I've seen the difference too, that, you know, you get into it and yeah, ours is real mushy and then the next one is good, you know. So I think a lot of it is the to get that crown back. And if you can hold that crown, that's the big one.
and if I may just touch on that just briefly, in the falls, we typically don't try to cut the crown off.
No.
We basically just take the gravel that's loose on the shoulder and then the whole side of the road, and then we just kind of place the material off the side, the gravel material, not the clay or anything like that. But so that's what we do in the fall. We do we try to roll the dice and figure out exactly when we start doing that before the snow hits. Because if we don't do that and to keep the roads rutted as they are, typically with a lot of traffic and stuff, as that snow comes, it just fills in those ruts. And then when we go plow snow, you know, we're trying to get all the snow, but what happens is we'll start tickling the top of the ruts, and that's where the gravel is. And all that goes straight into the ditch. So with us flattening the roads off, not the crown, but just the gravel, it basically kind of takes less of the crown away. How do I say this properly? But just takes the gravel, pushes it off to the side. So then that way, when we're going down with the graders, it's typically the blades are flat and less chance of throwing too much gravel into the ditch. But what happens is, especially in, say, I think it was this year, I know last year we had some issues. We get those freezing rain events or those rain events where we just, in the middle of February, we'll get a bunch of rain. Those roads get mucky. Traffic drive on the center of the road, they take that material away, right? So that's clay or gravel combination clay, and that's gets taken away. So and as well as even when it's froze, your traffic's flying, right? And you get the expansion, contraction, the ground moves, you know, it's going to deteriorate eventually. So in the springtime, when the crown is most critical, yeah, where's the crown? It's gone, right? So that's why in the springtime, we try our best to get that established as soon as we can. So that way we're always kind of blending and making and shaping that road back to how it should be. So I just want to say that we don't flatten the roads off. We just store the gravel off to the shoulder.
Don't remove the crown.
Exactly. Yeah, to remove the crown, you're specifically like removing the clay and the structure that's in that center.
Yeah, and you don't do that. Is there a way that obviously they would have registered as a delegation? We have their emails. Could we send Mr. Lemon and Mr. Lechner the video and the time where Derek speaks?
Yeah, we can do that.
I was just going to ask one more with our gravel or with our shingles project 624. So to my counting, I think that 624 north of the shingles has been graded twice now, or 3 times. Might be even just 3 times, and we still haven't touched that one. And quite frankly, it's holding up very well with all the rain and stuff that we've had. I did have one person I gotta reach out to that was complaining that they've had 7 flat tires, and I drive that every day multiple times, and I haven't had no flat tires. Same with my wife. I haven't talked to anybody else that had any flat tires, and you know they're kind of blaming the shingle site, but I would like to know what kind of nails are in their tires, or if it's basically you know, the grader sometimes pulls slices off or something, but I haven't been able to get a hold of them yet. So I want, this is kind of just through talk of somebody told me this, so I wanted to double check on it. But has anyone else had any complaints? Not that I know of anyway. So yeah.
I believe when was it Sarum, or did someone come here, or somebody explain the process to us at some point about how they, you know, refine the shingles, and they go through magnets and they go through, so it's not from that.
Well, they have I believe five or six magnetic rollers that peels off all the, and they said 98% of the nails. They said it's usually 100, but because there's nails inside their lot, they can't say that it's 100. So they call it 98% of the nails been removed. So yeah.
I have found the odd one. Yeah. Yeah, because I know we were laying it out the one time. I was just kind of walking down the road and I looked down and sure enough there was one there. But as far as anything in the Packer tires, because our Packers were up and down, I don't know how many times when we're doing their site, there hasn't been any nails in that or in the grader tires or tractor tires or anything like that. So I think, you know, their 2% is pretty, that makes sense. Yeah. And then the shingles have held up quite decently. Yeah, so just once a week I try to drive on it, just kind of examine it and see how the things are holding up. And the one thing that I want to say is that when we're doing such a long stretch of that site in particular, I didn't want to cheap out, right? So that's why we spent the time, we narrowed the road up. We incorporated all the old existing gravel, clay, all onto everything, got our crown established, and then put the shingles on top of that, packed it, you know. So once again, we started off with a road with a good crown. You know, we put our wear surface on top of it. Once we figured out that we got to put gravel and mix gravel into the shingles, that made a world of difference, because the first stretch that comes off the asphalt, we didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't learn that until we started hauling the stuff, right? So that's kind of the reason maybe why that stretch didn't hold out so much, but the stuff that we were doing after that held up really well. But once again, it's the structure of everything in order to make the road a success. So it'd be nice to kind of incorporate all the roads and bring them back to strength like that too, but just try to find the time to do it is the challenge, right? So
Derek, I had heard from a couple of ratepayers on the shingles portion you did, and they raved about the job you did. So kudos to you.
Well, it was a team.
They said you guys did an amazing job.
I know with all the help like from Ernie and Terry as well, there's no way we could have done it with those two guys. So yeah, it worked great. So no, it's like I said, it was a good project for sure.
One of my ratepayers phoned me, and he lives just after that stretch, and he said, "Thank you very much for doing it. You guys did a heck of a job." I'm trying to convince my wife now I can buy a motorcycle.
I would like to continue on going north on that road, incorporate the road like how we did on that. And I'm hoping we'll get to it maybe this year, but I just see how things go. But I like to do it because at least I can narrow it up, get that structure again, put it back down to gravel, and then we're good. So we just got to find the time.
Any other questions for Derek?
One more for about the roads, and I dealt with a ratepayer, the email that we got from 2174. I talked to Derek about it too, actually, after that, and I went down there. It was dry, but definitely it's on the list for graveling for sure, because right from Creek Road right to correction line, it is bad.
It's on the list, yes. Yep.
Okay, yeah, go ahead for Rod.
Rod, I just have a question about copper sands.
Yeah.
That repair that they're supposed to be doing. I know you had said that right now, because their meter isn't recording usage, right? So they were just using an average?
Yeah, we had, I believe we had 2 quarter reports from the original meter that was in.
Okay.
And so we took out that original meter that they installed. We installed the new meter, and then now that one's pooched. So we're not going to, we do have one in stock to replace that. But we haven't replaced it until they provide us with a building. So
Oh, okay.
either fix the manhole and put a cover on the building over top so it's insulated or whatever. So
I was just worried about the number we were using to bill them, because I thought in the summer, higher water usage, right?
yeah, I
So-
think we have one billing from April, and we have one or March and one from June of that first 6 months. So we have a rough idea. So I could review that with
That you compare it to.
yeah, I can review that with Jessica.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I was just thinking they're sort of dragging their heels a little bit.
Yeah, I reached out to the engineer last week. I called him and I sent him a text message, but I think he's on holiday, so I'll get in touch with Dustin Weiss. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's been a while that they've
Yeah.
sort of putting you off. Thank you.
Stan.
Yeah, I got one for Rod. You talked about some work that was done on Jackson. The smaller potholes have not been repaired yet. Are they going to get done?
Yeah, we got some more mix. We got some more cold mix for that. So
They're not, after this wet weather, they're not getting any better. They're getting worse.
yeah, the guys got to dig them out a little bit and do a little bit better job.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Anything else?
One more. For Rod with the leafy spurge, you said the spot spraying is all completed, but I just wondering about the emails that were going around, that stuff's not done. Is that?
I'll speak to that. I don't think Rod was on that email chain. Yeah, we do have a ratepayer in Brattleboro Estates that has an ongoing concern about leafy spurge. Some of the locations that the ratepayer has identified is actually not RM right-of-way. Some of it is highways as well as the town of White City. Now, we will be following up with him and hopefully addressing some of his concerns with the locations. We just have our weed inspector actually checking to see which spots they have sprayed and which ones, just to make sure we haven't missed anything, and then share the correct information. We'll also be taking an arborist out to the location just to make sure that there wasn't any damage caused by spraying to those trees. And if there was, what we can do to help those trees along.
Okay, and then was with the leafy spurge, I had a ratepayer ask for rented land, like the owner, who's responsible for doing their land? Is it the owner, or does the renter have to be responsible for spraying their leafy spurge?
Ultimately, the owner is responsible, but the owner has to be aware. And of course, I'm sure the renter doesn't want an outbreak of leafy spurge if they're renting the land.
Do they provide you, our weed inspector, with the properties they've sprayed? Do you end up with a full listing?
Yeah, we get a map from them in the listing. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we needed to check on a land, we can.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all GPS. Our weed inspector GPS is all the sites. So we're just going to, based on that email that we received, we're just double checking to make sure that we didn't miss any.
So the land, to Stephen's point, to some of the land around Bridlewood, it's my understanding that the complaints started when the RM owned all that land. Now that White City owns that land, are they aware of the leafy spurge? Like, it's kind of.
Yeah, we didn't own the land. It was in the jurisdiction of the RM. Yeah,
Sorry, that's what I meant. It was in the RM's jurisdiction.
that's right. And there was ongoing enforcement happening. That has been transferred to the town of White City. Town of White City is aware.
Any other questions for delegations? Okay, I think we need a motion to accept the Public Works report as presented. Oh, so we had a motion already? Oh, sorry, it was so long ago, I forgot.
But I think you need to, like, the motion is on the table. You just haven't voted.
Hold on. So any other questions for our Rod, Clark, or Derek? Hey, all in favor? Motion is carried. Thanks, Derek, Rod, Clark. We need, sorry, we're going to go into our public hearing. We're 2 minutes late. So, public hearing on, there's a public hearing on bylaw 2026-27, zoning map amendment. Do we have any written submissions, Paige?
No.
No written submissions. Any verbal submissions on bylaw number 2026-27? Verbal? A motion to acknowledge no written, no verbal? Nicole?
There's no written and no verbal. For the
Remarks.
hearing. Yeah, remarks for the public hearing. I just thought you would have already had that done up.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, we're down to the,
I make a motion, we have a 15-minute break.
well, I was just going to do the water report, but if you want to break, then we'll, all in favor of Tim's motion? Motion is carried. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. And we are at the June 2026 water report.
Okay, so there are a couple things noted on this report. The raw water meter, which you mentioned in the Public Works report, as well as the water main break. So that was the repair that was done on Old Dewdney that resulted in the public water drinking advisory. So it's been 6 weeks, I think, since the last report was done. So this does have some stuff that we've covered previously, but those are kind of the two big ones noted on this report.
Thank you. Motion to acknowledge the water report as presented. Darren.
That the June 2026 water report be accepted as presented.
Thank you. Clark, I got one question. I noticed they were doing a hydrant repair or work around a hydrant on South Plains Road there. Do you know, was that ours or was that private?
Where was that location on South Plains?
Down, I forget exactly. It was past Seedmaster down in that area there.
Okay. I would have to check with Jason on that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just was wondering, I thought it was the sewer line project, but they were digging all around a hydrant. It looked like they were maybe raising it up because it was really low.
Oh, okay. If it's within the road right of way, it's ours.
Yeah.
A couple of those businesses, I don't think Seedmaster's one, but some of those businesses do have private hydrants, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions on, yes?
Clark, do you know with that repair now, did that correct the water pressure problems in Stone Point?
So I don't believe we've had any recent water issues reported to the office. We have reached out to Copper Sands specifically because they were having some pressure issues in the lead up to this event. And initially after the repair was made, they said that the pressure has been good out there. Haven't followed up again to see if it's maintained that, but But I haven't been made aware of any new complaints on water pressure.
Yeah, I haven't seen any either. So I didn't know if they were ongoing and people just haven't said anything or if it's actually fixed.
Yeah. And so, and again, some of those that we've received in the past, like the majority of them have been mechanical issues with water softeners or things within the house, but yeah, no new ones that have popped up or ones that we've had in the past that said like, you know, still having the issue. So yeah, we'll continue to monitor though, especially that Stone Point area. Yeah.
They were the ones that had the problems. And I know I talked to Rod about it and he had said they couldn't figure out why, but all of a sudden there was pressure problems. So
yeah, that was the first time that we had experienced it in the main. As soon as, you know, a little bit of water was running through the hydrant, we got, you know, the pressure went way down. So
yeah.
But yeah, that would have been, I think that issue specifically in the main isn't a problem anymore. Yeah.
Other questions for Clark? Okay, all in favor? Motion is carried. Range Road 2183 upgrade.
Okay, this report's brought to council as part of the upgrade project that we're doing for Range Road 2183. It's received RIRG funding, and part of the requirement of that funding program is that the road right-of-way has to be a minimum 42 meters wide. So the stretch that we're doing right now is a 30-meter right-of-way, so we need to purchase right-of-way 6 meters on either side of the road to the adjacent landowners. So we've been working on this for a couple of years with everybody. We've hired the legal surveyor to do the subdivision. We had, you know, market appraisals done on each piece of land from Brunson Lorick. And we've been negotiating with all the landowners in the area over the last little while too. So at the time of this report, unfortunately, we only have 4 of the 5 entities that have signed the agreements, but we've been dealing with that numbered company in Alberta as well. They're aware of it and have agreed to the terms and principle. We're just sometimes difficult to deal with landowners that aren't in the area to get things like this executed. So bring in this report to authorize the Reven CAO to execute the land purchase agreements.
For a motion so we can discuss further. It's a long one, Tim.
Yeah. Whereas Range Road 2183 upgrade project has received funding from Rural Integrated Roads for Growth, RIRG program. And whereas the funding program requires the right-of-way of the upgraded portion of the road to increase from 30 meters to 42 meters wide, therefore be resolved that the RM ratifies the agreement for sale of land for additional right-of-way for the road widening as shown in the plan survey prepared by 2020 Geomatic dated February/March 2025 at the property values identified in the current market valuation appraisal report completed for each one of the properties. Do I need to read it? Yeah, okay. Northwest 10, 17, 18, 2, Extension 5, Blackbird Ventures. Block/par A plan 101927853, extension 0, Andrew and Elizabeth 9 Gears. Block/par B plan 1023177789, extension 0, 2057943, Alberta Limited. Southwest 10, 17, 18, extension 1, 2057943, Alberta Limited. Block Part B Plan 101515698, extension 91, Richardson International Sask Limited. Northeast 09 17 18, west of the second, extension 24, Richard Dowd. And southeast 09 17 18 2, extension 0, Richard Dowd.
Thank you, Tim. Any questions on the motion? Okay, all in favor? Motion is carried. Thanks, Clark. Dave, Page. Discretionary application garage suite, 210 Henley Crescent, Stone Point.
Perfect. So this application was submitted quite a while ago, and it couldn't proceed until the text amendment to the garage suite section of the zoning bylaw was approved by community planning. So it has now been approved by community planning, and garage suites are allowed within the side and rear yards in the CR2 and CR1 zoning districts and AR. They're not allowed in the side yard in the CR3 zoning district. So we are bringing this application to council for approval. We're looking for council to approve this application with the conditions listed 1 through 9. Again, this is at 210 Hanley Crescent. During the public hearing, we had no verbal and no written submissions, and that public hearing was held on May 26th.
Okay, looking for a motion so we can discuss. Karen?
Do you want me to read all 9 conditions?
No.
Okay. I got pulled.
She's the deputy.
Okay, that the discretionary use application to allow a garage suite at 210 Hanley Crescent be approved with the following conditions, 1 to 9 as listed.
Okay, thank you. Motion. Questions? All in favor? Motion is carried. Very short presentation, Paige. Okay, down to RM Business 2026 Recreation Grants.
So this report is before council today to allocate the 2026 operational recreation grants. Since 2018, the RM has provided operational grants to organizations within the RM. When council was considering the 2025 recreation grants, council directed administration to develop a policy that would consider supporting a wider range of recreation amenities or services within the region. We've not done that policy yet. We are currently working on it. Therefore, we are recommending that we stay with providing the grants as have traditionally been approved in the past. So with Communiscate, 15,000, Town of Balgony, 30, Town of Pilot Butte, 15, and the Village of Edenwold, 4. Those were based basically on ice surfaces. Granted, Village of Edenwold does not have an ice surface. They do still provide recreation services within the community. So I'm not recommending that council change that for 2026. We will be finalizing a policy, bringing it forward to council prior to the 2027 budget consideration, and then also having those conversations with the organizations that would be eligible or have received recreation grants in the past. So again, council can make a change to that, but I recommend all the budgets for 2026 have been set already. I wouldn't recommend changing that for this year.
For a motion so we can discuss. Karen?
That the following operational recreation grants be approved for 2026. Communiscate 15,000, Town of Balgony 30,000, Town of Pilot Butte 15,000, Village of Edenwold 4,000.
Thank you. Discussions on the motion?
So I think part of it, like I say, we still wanted to give the village some money because, like I say, they got the seniors club, they've got with school and stuff, and they have a lot of different activities going on and everything. So I think it's a good plan. I would imagine in the near future, you guys are going to be looking at trying to develop something that is just not based around the skating rinks and stuff. It's going to be all inclusive, basically. Is that what you're looking at then?
That's right. So it'll be providing grants for a wider range of recreation opportunities, likely focusing on those that the RM doesn't provide right now. The policy isn't finalized. It is in draft right now. We're just looking at, fairness and making sure that we are supporting the gaps that the RM have from a recreation perspective.
Like the town of Algoni, they offer the curling rink and the swimming pool. Those are big.
And the ball diamonds, and like there's a lot of amenities in like Pilot Butte as well. They have ball diamonds. White City has ball diamonds, things that the RM does not currently maintain and provide. So that's where the priority is going to be given. Skating, like ice surfaces, are still very, very important, and they are very costly to operate. So we have to look at this. We have to look at it objectively and make sure that it's fair.
I think the town of Edenwold or village of Edenwold was doing an outdoor rink as well, were they not? I thought I had read that they were going to use the old boards and do an outdoor rink. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was done or if it's going to be done. I know they also do have the sports grounds that is very busy, and they maintain that. I know there's a committee that manages it, but the village maintains it.
Like you said, budgets have already been set on it, so I think it would be unfair to change it at this late date. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Woods Crescent Playground.
So this report is coming to council essentially because this exceeds our purchasing limits through our purchasing policy. The swing set is a budgeted capital expense in the 2026 budget. The budget was for 40,000, and this is within that budget. So we're just looking for council to accept the Communication, Arts and Recreation and Culture Committee recommendation.
I'll make that.
Nicole?
Yeah. That the RM of Edenwold 158 proceed with the purchase and installation of Woods Crescent. They had Rucker Park swing set from the Park and Play Design in the total amount of $35,252.73 plus applicable taxes.
Thank you. Discussion? As Sean has said, it was in the budget, and we've discussed it at previous meetings, so I think it's pretty straightforward, but any discussion, questions on the motion?
Is that the one that was at the convention that time that you were talking to, Nicole? Was that the place?
It's the same company. Yeah.
Do you know if they did any grant applications?
I was doing that sheet. They seem to be the best to work with. So they're going to be reaching out. Donna's going to be reaching out to you to work with Spruce Creek too.
Yes, so that's another discussion. This Park and Play, they do
the
grant applications free of charge. So
this project is one that we're applying for under the Canada Community Building Fund grant. So it'll be fully funded through that.
But we haven't applied yet. Or we have, and it's been approved?
It's pending approval, but typically, as long as we're within our allocated amount of funding, they approve the project we submit. So.
That's awesome.
Other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Motion is carried. 13.3, tax exemption bylaw number 2026-08.
All right, so this is a tax exemption bylaw for 4 South Plains Road. The RM's tax exemption policy provides tax incentives for eligible developments that support economic growth and investment within the RM, and the owner of 4 South Plains Road has applied for the exemption. We've reviewed the application and confirmed that it meets the eligibility requirements outlined in the policy, and so we're looking for all 3 readings of the bylaw at this meeting.
Okay, looking for first reading so we can discuss. Stan.
That bylaw number 2026-08 being a bylaw to provide for entering into an agreement for exemption from taxation for South Plains Road, Lot 16, Block R3, Plan 123455096, Extension 0 in Great Plains Industrial Park be given first reading.
Thank you. Karen, they realize that that is for the municipal portion only.
Yes, we make that very clear when we send them the application.
Okay. Other questions, discussion on the motion? Motion is carried. Looking for second motion for second reading. Darren.
Bylaw number 2026-08 being the bylaw to provide for entering into an agreement for exemption from taxation for 4 South Plains Road, Lot 16, Block Par 3, Plan 1024559096, Extension 0 in Great Plains Industrial Park be given second reading.
Thank you. Discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. And looking for permission to give 3 readings at this meeting. Tim?
That bylaw number 2026-08 being a bylaw to provide for entering into an agreement for exemption from taxation for 4 South Plains Road, Lot 16, Block Par 3, Plan 1024559096, Extension 0 in Great Plains Industrial Road Park be given 3 readings at this meeting.
3 readings. It must be unanimous, so please indicate your vote clearly. Discussion on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried unanimously. And looking for a third and final reading. Stephen?
That bylaw number 2026-08 being a bylaw to provide for entering into an agreement for exemption from taxation for 4 South Plains Road, Lot 16, Block Par 3, Plan 1024559096, Extension 0 in Great Plains Industrial Park be given third and final reading.
Thank you. Discussion on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, 13.4, Resort Village of Pasqua Lake Development Appeals Board Agreement.
Village of Pasqua Lake has requested to enter into a Development Appeals Board agreement with the RM to access qualified and experienced Development Appeals Board members when development appeals arise. So council's approval is required to authorize the Reeve and CAO to execute the Development Appeals Board agreement with the Reserve Village.
For motions we can discuss. Stephen.
That council authorize the Reeve and Chief Administration Officer to execute the Development Appeals Board agreement with the Resort Village of Pasqua Lake as written.
Thank you. Karen, there's no cost to the RM when they do that. They pay all the fees.
Yeah, that's right. And just to note, we also have 5 other municipalities that use our Development Appeals Board.
Thank you. Questions on the motion?
Yeah, I got, how many would we need to put in there that we would have too many? You know, I'm just, you know, for as far as our appeals board, is there that many cases for it or anything, or?
No, it's not as busy as like the Board of Revision. So our board members are asked if they are willing to take on other municipalities. So the DAB isn't usually too busy. So yeah.
And just to confirm, we have how many members appointed to the Development Appeals Board right now?
I believe it's 8.
And we only need 3.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of people on the board that if somebody can't make it, somebody usually else can.
Okay, all in favor? Motion is carried. 13.5, SGI Traffic Safety Fund Grant Application.
Okay, do you want me to give a quick brief update?
Give an update.
Okay, so this report is an update to the report that was presented at the June 23rd council meeting. And we're asking council's consideration to rescind the previously approved motion and pass a new motion authorizing an increase to the grant application from 1 speed sign to 2 speed signs. And these would be located for Emerald Park Road and Huber Drive.
Nicole, you want to do the first motion?
Yeah, I can resend it. That resolution number 2026-335 passed at the June 23rd, 26 council meeting, directing administration to apply for the SGI Traffic Safety Fund grant. Ooh, what happened? Screen program for the purchase of a iSafe 1 SL speed display sign be rescinded.
Thank you. Discussion on the motion?
Yeah, so this kind of came out of our committee meeting, and I guess we put up the CSOs put up the speed display sign on Emerald Park Road, and obviously there's a lot of speeding that goes on there. A couple people were clocked at 70, which is concerning, and I've had ratepayers on Huber Drive had complained about speeding as well. So there's still time to apply for the grant to actually get 2 iSafe 1 SL speed display signs to help calm traffic on Emerald Park Road and Huber Drive. And at the committee meeting, we also talked about how I'm sure this is the same for everyone, when you drive on South Plains Road, when you see the flash, what you're actually driving, it actually does calm you. It reminds you, it slows you down. Al and I both agreed to that. So we thought that would be a good way to address the speeding on there and just remind people that they are in a residential area. And there is lots of kids over there. There's a number of bus stops, and people clocking through there at 70 is unacceptable, and just to raise awareness about the speeding. So that's why the meeting came at a really good time, because we can rescind this motion and make another motion to apply for 2 of them. So
Thanks, Nicole. Any other discussion?
Well, I just wanted to mention, now that I live around that area, that I've seen construction workers go right through those stop signs, and I'm concerned about the golfers. There's a fence there and nobody can see, and one truck, a construction truck, went straight through, and the guy that was at the stop sign was honking at him to stop, but he still didn't. So I don't know what to really do about something like that, because I don't know if there's a stop sign for the golfers there or not.
there is.
Okay, because I mean, I highly recommend they stop, because the guy was doing 40K, and if one of those golf carts comes burning through there, I mean, that could be really bad.
Yeah, and we have like our CSOs patrol there, but they just can't be there at all the right times either. So
Yeah, no, I just witnessed it, and I was like, oh my, like this could be very bad.
Other discussion on the motion? Favor? Motion is carried. Next motion?
I can make it. But council direct administration to apply to the SGI Traffic Safety Fund grant program for the purchase of 2 iSafe 1 SL speed display signs for the proposed locations of Emerald Park Road and Huber Drive, and further that the administration obtain updated price quotes for the equipment to support the grant application submissions.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Just what's the cost of the signs per sign?
Approximately, I think it's like $10,000, I believe. So we have to get the updated quotes though. And it'll be added into the budget for 2027, because we can't install them until the spring, because we have to wait for approval for the grant, and that won't be until near the end of December. So it goes into the 2027 budget.
we already have one in the 2026 budget. That'll be a capital carry forward. So the new budget will have the 2026 budget in it, plus the additional sign, if that's clear.
Other questions? All in favor? Motion is carried. Thanks, Karen. Okay, we're down to committee reports. I know, Stan, it actually isn't a committee, but is there anything on wastewater?
There's no meeting this week because of Taya's way with her mother. Her mother's had some serious illness. So that's about it. And I know she has been dealing with the both municipalities on connection fees, and I don't know the results of that yet. So I think, maybe Shauna can enlighten us on that, but yeah, I'm not aware of anything right now. So we're having a meeting next week instead of tomorrow, and then I'll have a report for our next meeting at the end of the month. Okay?
Thank you, Stan.
Yep.
Nicole, anything that we haven't discussed yet from the meeting?
Yes. From the Protective Services Committee, Donna had recommended that highways be contacted for putting up by the RCMP and by the Ice House, actually reaching out to highways to put flashing stop signs. That was actually a really good idea. So do we have to make a motion for administration to reach out to highways, or do they come in for their yearly meeting soon? It was actually a really good idea because everyone blows by there and people aren't paying attention. So she recommended that flashing stop signs be put in there, and I actually think that's a really good idea. So
Yeah, we don't need a motion. We can just have that conversation with highways. They reach out to Clark and Rod. I don't think we've had our annual meeting with them yet, have we?
I don't think so. They usually come to council once a year too. Can you add that to your list? It was a really good recommendation.
Yeah, it's the flashing lights go around the stop sign, and it brings a lot more attention to them.
I brought this up a year ago about that intersection and coming off the highway too. And then I haven't heard anything since. So
Yeah, so we did share those concerns with highways. There is planned upgrades for that intersection, but we just don't have a timeline on that right now. Clark, do you have anything to add from conversations about that intersection?
No, but we will have an update pretty shortly here from KGS. They're undertaking the Emerald Park traffic study. And so that was one of the intersections of interest through that study. So they'll have updated traffic numbers and volumes and projections based on development that'll happen, and then recommended upgrades there and timing of those. So it'll be good information to have, should be coming in the next month or two.
Okay, that's good. And even though if they have something planned for the future for changes there, the flashing lights around the four-way stops would be a great thing to implement for safety, as of right now. Be helpful over there, I think. What else did we have from that committee? We had, we're actually up 61 calls this year over last year. And there was also false alarms are up too, so both of them are up. From that.
Those were fire calls, correct?
Yeah, fire calls. Sorry, we're still on Protective Services Committee, just to be clear. And what else came from that meeting? Pardon?
The school buses issues with the stop, people running past the stop signs on the school bus.
Yes. So we actually talked in the committee meeting about reaching out to Lee to do some communication on school bus safety for the fall when the school starts, because there's been a lot of complaints of people just ripping by school buses, which isn't good. So maybe some public awareness on that. And the portable signs for speeding would be also helpful on the 624 going north and south. Those are other problem areas that were identified. So were we putting in 2 more portable speed signs? Are they in the budget?
Well, she was talking with the portable ones, not the big ones that are on wheels, because you can't get them into the ditch. You'd have to put them in a farmer's approach, which was a safety issue. But she's talking about ones that are mounted on posts. The post would be there permanently, but you could move the signs from one post to another.
Mounted but portable.
Yeah, so they're portable in that respect. And then that way, said you could move them around through different rural areas in the RM. So,
is that in the budget?
No, we're going to look into what the options are, and then we can put it in the 2027 budget.
Okay. Because they had Donna had identified the 624 going north and south, which is a bad one, which I'm sure you guys are all aware of in the rural areas. And there's some other problem areas as well that can be identified. And she also said it's good to move them around because people get used to them. And then this way you can monitor other areas and creates a lot of awareness about what's going on out there for safety.
I'd suggest if you can't get some kind of dummy boxes too, that put them up. They don't know if it's a real one or not. Would make sense too, because I'm sure you can get just the empty box that looks like it.
Yeah.
And that that gives them a false sense of, oh, I'm being recorded.
And no one will know if it's the dummy box or the real box.
Are you talking about like radar?
Right, you're talking.
Yeah, but we have you have to actually notify people. So you would have to say that this road is speed enforced, but like you can't. That's entrapment. You can't do that.
Okay, so we'll stay within the law then.
Could put you out there with the radar gun, Tim. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else, Nicole? Karen? Okay. Stephen, anything? No. Tim? Darren?
No, but I have a question for Nicole about the buses though.
Yep,
It's
sure.
just has that been late, like just at the end of the school year, or because I've noticed that they were stopping, the bus would turn right into the middle of the road and stop and let the kids out instead of off to the side so the car can't get by.
Yeah, so I think this is an ongoing problem since the beginning of time. People unfortunately blow through by the buses, and bus drivers have been complaining for forever, and that's why they invented those arms, but people still blow by them. It just actually came up because somebody had actually sent a letter in about it. They were concerned about it. So yeah, it's an issue. More public awareness from Lee would be great as we enter the school year in the fall. Just as a reminder to people.
Okay, thanks. I don't have anything.
But Darren made a great suggestion, like those bus drivers. They can easily fix that. Like they can pull in the middle and nobody can get by them.
If they're supposed to do that, I actually have no idea. It's probably liability, but the bus drivers probably make their own decisions for their own kids.
The roads aren't as wide, right? But I mean, maybe on a rural road, they're wider. It might be harder to do something like that.
Okay. Darren, roundtable.
Nothing.
Tim?
I had a letter hand delivered to me yesterday from one of our junior ratepayers. It says, "Dear Mr. Brodt, my name is Fiona Lampart. I am 9 years old. I live in Zener. I think there should be signs for deer crossings on the road near Zener because there is a lot of deer in that area and they get hit by cars. When my family drives home, we see dead deer. I think deer signs would help our community because they will warn drivers that there are animals. People won't dent their cars or dent their vehicles, and it will save wildlife. Can you please talk about this at your next municipality meeting? Sincerely, Fiona. Well, madam. I thought it was kind of neat that she's taking an interest in our politics here, and I think I know there's a couple of signs that have a speed reduction going into Zener. I don't know if we have any of the deer crossing signs in inventory, but I don't know what the rest of council thinks about it. Because we don't have to put new posts up and everything, I think it would be a small expense to do it, but it's a council decision. So
Clark, will we be able to get signs made up for deer crossing?
You gonna charge Fiona the cost? You know what her piggy bank situation is? Or... We can have the signs ordered, yeah.
Tim?
Okay, I make a motion that we order 2 of the deer crossing signs and install them whenever we get a chance.
Where at, Tim?
734, just in the on the existing signs that are entering Zener there, speed reduction signs that are entering Zener.
Thank you. Discussion on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Stephen, anything for roundtable?
Yeah, well, we talked about the leafy spurge. I had ratepayers on it and the road grading for sure. The other one I wanted to bring up was, and Donna mentioned this at the meeting too, with the ATV issues, dirt bikes especially. Last week at the corner, Clark, where they built the road up from my place to the corner, I think we need a stop sign or yield sign there. Because I went down to the field that day and I just was turning the corner and this dirt bike, he just about ran and smacked right into the side of me. He never looked either way. He went flying right through that intersection. If I would have been 2 seconds earlier, he would have got me right in the side of the truck. And I think he would have been toast.
Any discussion on that idea? We need a
No signs on there right now at all?
No, there's no signs whatsoever. And since the road's been built up, it's like past my place. They just go flying by there, and I watched them, and you can hear them. They'll go flying right down. But even it goes onto a dirt road, but nobody looks there. And like I said, coming north and south, I think that's probably where a yield sign or even a stop sign, because it is a blind corner right there too. So we should maybe look at going north and south, I think, on that road.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Is that where there's trees on both sides too? Okay. Yeah. On the way to Darrell's there? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the dirt bikes have been a problem around our area too. They're flying, since school's let out, that's they've been just zipping down the road and yeah, it's challenging, but again, for our CSOs, you're not going to chase down some kids on a bike, because there's a chance that they're gonna wreck them. So it's a bad situation, and some of the parents think that's a right to have these dirt bikes going, and it isn't. It's on private property. You're supposed to keep them off the roads. And that's the biggest thing. Education. What do you do? How do you educate them? It just.
Well, Donna talked about that actually at the meeting about she discussed with ATVs and stuff and to the owners, and apparently the parents got upset.
Yeah, upset at the CSOs, not at the kids. Yeah. So. Okay, anything else, Stephen? Well, while we're on the safety issue, I've been getting texts from a ratepayer on Sapphire that has a great concern about kids on e-bikes coming down the walkway and then crossing the Sapphire. They're coming down there with the big jump and coming across without slowing down, and would like to see us do some investigation at a possible serpentine type setup there that you can easily walk through, but you'd have to get off the bikes and walk through it. So Clark, if you guys could just do some research into it and stuff, I don't want to make a motion on it or anything at this point, but just do some research into it. I don't think a stop sign there for the cart or for the walkway is going to do anything for them, but it was something, that put a bit of a fence up so that kind of like the walkway with the some of the walkways that have the posts on them, something like that. Just have a look at it and see what, in your expert opinion, what we can do.
Yeah, and that's at Sapphire Drive, just north of Sapphire, or
Yeah, just
north of
before the
Sapphire.
bay there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's the first time I had anything on roundtable. Karen.
I've got three things that I was going to discuss. I don't know if roundtable is the place or after. You can let me know. Karen, I had a question for you about yard maintenance. How's that going?
It's been going well. We've sent out the letters. There's been compliance. We've had, I think, about 10 that we have to get mowed from the second round. So we're doing the third round of inspections. Letters will be going out probably this week.
Because I was through Spruce Creek last week. And every lot other than one owned by, I don't know, whatever developer it is, are overgrown. Like every lot. So would they all be?
They weren't on, there was some from Spruce Creek. Our CSOs have been dealing with the developer who owns most of the vacant lots and trying to get compliance that way by talking with them, making sure they're staying on top of it.
Yeah, there is one developer that's got, he must have 20 or 30 lots, right? They're all bad. And I just feel sorry for the people like that are beside with like perfectly manicured lots.
Nope.
And
I agree. Yeah. So I'll follow up with the CSOs and see what the status is for this most recent round that they're doing.
Okay. Okay. I know the one that I had asked you about in Mission, the owner must have done it. Yeah. The next day he must have gone out and done it. Okay. And civic addressing. So Clark, did all the line locates get done?
I don't know. I don't have that
First
information.
50 or?
I'm not sure. I don't have any information from ATS on how many locates have been done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait till the end to see if they missed any?
Yeah, we'll get status updates from them as they move along. But until they say they're done and we, I guess, go inspect or have feedback from people to say that ours haven't been done, I guess we won't know if there's still ones that were missed either by ATS or the list that we gave ATS. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll probably have to figure out the best way to communicate to the public to say like it's complete. If you still haven't received yours, like please notify the office immediately.
So would Rod have a list of all the addresses?
Yes. Now that's not to say that that list is 100% complete.
Okay.
But that's to our knowledge, he would have the list of the addresses remaining.
Yeah, because there's one in particular off the 48 that's been reported, I think about 4 times.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure it's on that list.
Okay.
Okay. And then the third thing, and I don't know if this is where we should have the discussion, Shauna, is the dog situation. Because that occurrence was in my division, I just thought maybe we should discuss it at a different time.
Yeah, we can have a conversation. I guess if you're directing administration to do something, I mean, we're looking at options.
Think it's maybe a discussion we should have at some point with all of council for some ideas and give you guys some direction.
We can do that. Would you like me to put it on on the next council agenda for a discussion?
Sure.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And we'll bring whatever we can, because we're working on it on the background too. So we'll bring whatever we can to aid the discussion as well.
On that line too, I know going back a little ways here, one of our vet clinics had talked about opening up, and are they still expanding or anything? Do you know that because they had purchased property at one point, I thought, and
I think you're probably referring to the training facility that was just approved in Karen's division, just south of Stone Point. Is that the one?
Derek Fox?
Vet Pet.
No, Derek Fox.
No, it wasn't Vet Pet. So there, you may be referencing something else I'm not aware of, but there is a new business opening up in the Carson Industrial Park, and they are building a dog training facility, and I think they're doing some boarding there as well. We have talked to, he has provided a proposal for us to have one spot allocated for a stray dog. It's only one. we may have to look at other options. It just might not be financially economical, and it might not be a right fit. Like, he was trying to help us out. It just might not be a right fit for his business either, given the nature of his business, and the protection of his clients' animals.
Well, yeah, and that's part of the problem, that they don't know some of these animals. They don't know if they've been vaccinated or not, and to introduce them to a facility that could have cross contamination and stuff, isn't good either. So, but it seems like it's a very big problem, and unfortunately, the Regina Humane Society isn't helping us much at all. And I go back a few years, and Humane Society always kept coming for us to donate, and then finally we said, no, we're not donating anymore because you won't take any of the animals. And if you do, we get charged big time for them to come to receive these animals and stuff. And I know myself, we had a dog there, and nobody wanted it, and somebody just dropped it off, and finally my wife went into the Regina Humane Society and said, "This isn't our dog. Somebody dropped it off at our farm. It's obviously a city dog, so we're leaving it." They kept it, but again, it's too bad that you have to use that type of force to have trying to be humane to these animals and stuff.
I think some of it is the Humane Society's at maximum capacity as well. Like with the issue with the dogs here this weekend, like I helped Lee and I have an extensive list of even rescues. Like, everybody is at max capacity. And so thankfully, the Humane Society did take those dogs this weekend. That was because of the weather, extreme weather, but they're full. Like, they're full. Everybody's full. You can't find a foster. Like, no fosters could take them. Nothing. It's unfortunate. But if Derek could have an area that was like quarantined area off to the side, that would be, maybe we could work with him with that.
Yeah, and that's what his proposal was to have that. Now, it is only one. Again, there's more consideration to be done before we say that's the solution. There may be other options to consider.
Yeah, administration's going to do a lot of research on it and come up with some tentative solutions, because it is a issue not just for us, but the other municipalities around the area. It's a complicated situation. It's not just locating a place to keep them. It's catching them, transporting them, the training to do that safely. It's a complicated situation.
The dogs, these last set of dogs, they were showing aggression as well. That was the other safety issue. They were aggressive dogs.
Yeah.
Is that the dogs you wanted to talk about?
Well, I didn't want to talk about any particular dogs, just the actual situation that these rural communities are in. Like, we're going to have to do something collaboratively with Balgony, Pilot Butte, because our CSOs patrol Pilot Butte. What do they do with them there? So
They usually end up in the RM.
Exactly.
Like, I think it is a problem for the RM because the dogs usually travel.
Yeah. But Tim, you're right. Vet Pet was looking. I think she's looking to expand so she can have large animals at her clinic. And I know she was looking for another large animal vet, but I don't think she's found an appropriate spot yet. But it was Vet Pet. You're right. Yeah.
Anything else, Karen? Okay. Okay.
Speaking of Al, you had brought up the e-bikes, the paths and their safety, but we're a golfing community, and I have no problem with golf carts. We are a golfing community, but we do have to raise some awareness about the golf carts on the walking paths, because they are danger to the pedestrians. And that is a concern, especially at dusk. They've been out on the paths, and there's also kids traveling home at that same time. to raise some awareness about that. That is definitely an issue. They shouldn't be on the walking paths.
I agree. So we have done some posts on that. Is there something that you're recommending? Like, we regularly add posts every year about golf cart safety, where they're supposed to be traveling, what the bylaw says, including ATV and dirt bike safety. I don't know if you want us to just continually put that out as a reoccurring, or
And we put some signs up as in some of the main areas, the no golf carts.
they are on the walking paths. There are signs that says no motorized.
Okay, maybe at the entrance, for leaving even the golf course. I've never seen a sign.
The
Yeah,
paths that I walk on, there are.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're entering, like just over here, and yeah, okay, well,
But we can take another look at that and see if there's any more opportunities for signage.
does it say golf cart?
I think there's a picture of a golf cart, yes.
Says no motorized vehicle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
little pictures of them.
Of
Yeah.
the golf carts, okay, well, I'm not paying
Yeah,
attention.
there's a age limit on that to who can drive, like
Yeah,
drive those golf carts. Now, I do believe, because I did see some younger kids, so they're not on the road, so they think that if they're on the path, they're okay, right? Because they're not allowed to drive on the road. I think
yeah.
I've witnessed that, but I mean, they weren't, going very fast or anything, but if they're not supposed to be on there, then I guess they're not.
They're not supposed, I think you have to be 16.
Yeah.
You have to be 16 to be on the roads with a golf cart? 14.
It's 14. See, I told you so. But I'm going to say it. I knew this was going to happen with these golf courts and kids 14 and over. It was going to happen.
Yeah, it's an issue, and I just would hate to see a pedestrian get hit, or especially a kid. So I don't know what the answers are, but we need to try to figure that out.
Yeah.
And then also, when I was coming back from Seed Masters 25th anniversary, I came down like Industrial Drive. I crossed over there, and woo, the road almost swallowed my car up.
Yeah, that one, yeah. So how long ago was that?
I was in maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, we for sure had that was identified as needing some work. I think the graders have been down there, but I can double check to see what the condition is now.
Speaking of road conditions, just out of interest, over by Boston Pizza, it was on bypass property. There was a sinkhole in the asphalt. The culvert had separated, and there was a hole about this large that was about 2 feet deep where the asphalt had fallen in and everything. And I got in touch with Rod, and he got in touch with the bypass people. But you're talking about swallowing up a car. That one just on the service road by Boston Pizza. Yeah, coming out of the parking lot area there. So sorry to cut you off there, Nicole. Do you anything else?
Nope, that was it.
Stan? Okay.
Can I mention one other thing?
Okay.
I forgot to, Lee had approached me about doing popcorn for the car show coming up this Saturday. Unfortunately, where he was going to put me, we don't have power there. So what I suggested is I'll maybe try to make, I don't know, 50, 75 bags, whatever, and I'll deliver. Might have to employ some child labor, but I figured I'll try to deliver them to the car show anyway, so
Yeah.
they will have some anyways. But yeah, just gonna mention that.
Okay. I got a bit of an update here. Councillor Libels to send in stuff I forgot to do here. At our meeting, communications meeting, we debriefed about the Rock and Field Day. It was quite a success again. We went through about 500 hamburgers and 200 hot dogs for it. And we talked about next year, Nicole had suggested this, and I think it's a good idea, of moving the food table from the right at the door, moving it over further so that, because with the wind coming in from there, it was hard keeping stuff on the table with it. And we also discussed the equipment at Spruce Creek about that we need to talk to you, Karen, about that, about what needs to be done there. And we discussed the budget survey and possibly moving it to an online setup instead of mailing them out with it. And Donna, the new recreation, I don't know if she's an assistant or coordinator. Thank you. That she'd come up with some different ideas, possibly looking at a disc golf place somewhere in the RM for it. And she had an idea that was interesting called Chambers of Doom with a trunk, in which people park their vehicles, decorate the trunk, and give away candy at Halloween. So she said other communities have done it, and it's been quite a success. And I think Clark, we already about the noise at the pickleball that we've ordered slats for the fencing to try to quell some of that noise.
We've got a quote for slats. I don't think we've approved it yet.
Okay. Yeah. That's coming to council then, or does it have to come to council, or?
It's not based on the spending limit.
Okay.
We just need to make sure it fits within one of the approved budget.
Okay, thank you.
Line items.
And the slip and slide event at Pilot Butte was a big success. They had 2 slides, 2 pumper trucks, and Belgoni, Emerald Park, Pilot Butte, and White City Fire Department were there. So that's from the communications or the recreation. Go ahead, Nicole.
Just to expand a little bit on that, I talked to Carmen, and she had a clicker that she was trying to see approximately how many kids were going down thing. At one point, they ran out of soap, so she left. But she said her clicker was over in excess of 1,200 kids that were sliding down. So there's multiple kids doing it multiple times, but that was what she had clicked on, and was over in excess of 1,200. So. Yeah, it was a very good showing. Yeah. My grandkids really liked it anyway, so yeah.
I did have one thing to add from that committee was Donna, she also had an idea that she's working on about having a night market as well, like a farmer's market, but not like a regular market, just like a one-time fall, late August, early fall night market, which I thought was a really good idea. So going to put her in contact with a few people. That would be great. And she also talked to me. I also had a meeting with her about some other things for the community that I've put her in touch with some businesses that can bring some more recreation for the community. So that'll be coming.
When we hire someone new, could you bring them in and introduce them to us?
Yeah, sure. She's only 50%, like she's a half-time. Her schedule right now, because she has another job, doesn't allow her to come on Tuesdays right now. She's just trying to manage that. However, I do invite you to, if you are stopping by the office, any of you, to come and if it's on a Monday, Thursday, or Friday, she's generally here. I know some of you have met her, but others have not. So we'll look at what we can do in the fall once she's given more time with her other employer.
Okay, anything else for roundtable before we move in camera? Motion to go in camera? All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, we're back on. Okay, that's it for today. Stephen?
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
All in favor? Motion is carried.